Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers, my sisters, I hope everyone's doing good. And I pray that everyone is enjoying their holidays because most of the world is actually on holiday. You know, December is the end of the year, the Gregorian year that everyone or the bulk of the globe actually uses, Muslim and non-Muslim. The school terms are connected as well to December. In a lot of cases, there are holidays. People work during this time of, meaning according to the calendar, and they are off usually towards the end of December. And at the same time, we have the Christmas that happens on the 25th of December, the Boxing Day on the 26th, and the New Year on the 1st of January. So I am going to share with you something that many people have asked me. You know, we have so many people who have family members who are not Muslim. And in some cases, you have a single person who is a Muslim in an entire family. And sometimes they're very close knit with their siblings, their parents. Obviously, they should be. So they begin to ask questions, the do's and the don'ts, you know. It's the end of the year. It's the only time we're going to get to meet our family. But it happens to be Christmas. It happens to be, for example, the New Year. It happens to be anything else that the people may believe in. And it happens to be a holiday as well. And so what should we do? Because out of 1,000 emails or maybe even more, I want to share with you one that actually stood out a lot for me. A sister tells me from one of the advanced countries, she says, you know, we grew up siblings, very close, my parents and my sisters, my brothers, we were very, very close to each other. And we actually loved each other so much, and we still love each other. And as time progressed, we went to different parts of the country. Some left the country and went out of the country. And as time passed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to guide me to Islam, and I became a Muslimah. And now what has happened is I work, and I work very hard through the year. I don't get any leave that is meaningful enough for me to go back to the town where my parents are. And the same applies to my siblings. They work hard. The main holidays that they get at the end of the year. So what happens is we gather at the house of my parents where we grew up, and my parents really love all of us. They don't have a problem with me being Muslim. They don't have a problem with the faith that we've chosen. They cater for halal food for me. They actually, do not serve alcohol when I'm around and so on. But primarily, all of us happen as brothers and sisters to get together only at the end of the year with our parents. Now, am I allowed as a Muslim to participate in that, knowing that the following day is Christmas, or it is Christmas Day, or, for example, it's in that festive season, or it's the New Year Eve, or it is the New Year? Now, this sister was saying that some of the scholars said it's not allowed. You shouldn't be going. And I thought to myself, you know, they are responding based on their environment and their own situation, and they are not being sensitive to the reality. They're not being realistic. And at the same time, they don't understand. They haven't looked into what has just happened. And this is the case with hundreds, if not thousands, or maybe even millions of people who have relatives who are not Muslim. And sometimes they're your own parents, and you love them, and they love you, and they don't have a problem with you, and they're really, you know, kind, and they reach out to you, and the only time you're going to get is actually at the time of Christmas. So if you are going there, there is no harm whatsoever. It's not a problem. Your intention is clear. You're going there to spend time with the rest of your family who happens to be non-Muslim. You're going to dress appropriately. You're not going to eat that which is forbidden. In fact, they, according to this one question, they cater for halal. They make sure everyone eats only that which is halal, and they actually do not serve that alcohol there. So it's something where they're catering for you. They allow you your space, and those are your siblings. It could be your family. It is in this case. So would you be allowed to go? The answer is yes, you would. Your intention needs to be clear. You don't compromise what you firmly believe, and you don't want them to compromise what they believe, because obviously the same way you have a right, they have a right. And so We don't trample on each other's toes, but you will be there. You will participate in the joyous moment of the get together that's happening because it's convenient at this time, and the intentions are of utmost importance. Now, a lot of people don't understand this. And this is why I say sometimes we ask scholars who've never been interacting with non-Muslims or people who have family members who are not Muslims. They've never interacted with such families, and they don't understand. They answer you based on their environment. They answer you based on a Muslim environment sometimes. They answer you without realizing that this does happen. And they answer you thinking, or for some strange reason, that you're not supposed to even be interacting. Yet, subhanAllah, there are rulings that would allow you to marry a person of the book under certain circumstances. And that is referring to the Jews and the Christians. So it goes to show that relationships are definitely permissible, but obviously without compromising what you believe. And the same way they wouldn't compromise what they believe. I wouldn't like to shove down the throat of another something that they would not consume. And I would love that they respected the same right of mine. So mashallah, in a lot of these cases, you find they have fulfilled our rights in a better way than Muslims would. In a lot of these cases, they fulfill our rights in a better way than Muslims would. And then we say, don't mix with them, don't talk to them, don't go there. I mean, come on, that's my mother, that's my father. The same happens when they pass away. Are you allowed to go? Are you allowed to? You should go. You should go and express your condolences and sympathies, and you should even help if need be. You might even have to pay for the burial if need be, because if you're a child, then obviously the burden may sometimes be upon you, if it is. But sometimes we get people who just say, no, it's based on their environment, it's based on what they're used to. They're probably not, they haven't ever mixed, they haven't interacted, they haven't lived in those circumstances. So they're just saying no, based on themselves. So I thought I'd clarify this. Like I said, not just one email, but thousands of emails asking us if, we could visit our homes during the Christmas period. Why not? You can. And, you know that I'm going there without compromising my faith. I'm going to be with my family. It's a joyous moment of getting together as siblings. And guess what? It's a moment for them to see the beautiful teachings of your faith. You're so kind. You're so calm. You don't compromise your religion, but at the same time, you don't shove on them to compromise theirs. And what you would do is be kind and reach out to them. Your character, your conduct, the time of salah is not compromised, and your other duties unto the Almighty are not compromised. So this type of response, you probably won't get it from a lot of the scholars out there who have not lived in countries that perhaps are predominantly non-Muslim, or they have a huge non-Muslim population. Because, like I said earlier, they wouldn't really sometimes even know what it's like. May Allah make it easy for all my brothers and sisters out there who have family members who are not Muslim, to be able to respect them, to be able to, share that beautiful reunion more than anything else. The hadith says, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. That all actions are judged by their underlying intentions, and for every person is what they intended, So the intention here is the reunion, it's the get together. The family members get so happy and delighted. Like this one sister was saying, I've been going every year and it's been so good and everyone's so happy with me and I'm happy with them. These are my siblings. I grew up with them, brings back fond memories, and we really bond very well. They're not your enemies. They're not at all your enemies. It doesn't mean you became a Muslim, so you need to detach yourself completely from your own family. No. Yes, if someone is trying to shove down your throat something prohibited according to you, then you have to take, obviously, precaution and you have to protect yourself. But generally, especially where people are supportive and they don't have a problem, why should we have a problem? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy. I do know that there were some of my colleagues who actually sent me emails telling me they don't agree. You have the right not to agree, and we have the right also to disagree. I think this is a very fair statement. It's very balanced. And to be honest, if you were to mix with the reverts and others, you would realize the uprightness of what I've just said. May Allah make it easy for all of us. I'm not saying that we will participate in what is wrong, but I'm saying a reunion of the family, nothing wrong during the holiday season. So what if that holiday season happens to be falling during the Christmas and during the New Year and so on? A lot of us seize bargains that happen to be there for Christmas. You know, they say, oh, the Christmas sale, and you have Muslims going to buy, not because they're participating in the Christmas, for example, but because they're participating in the sale part of that deal. So do we just have to sit and wait until the price shoots up again before we actually buy our stuff? No, you can go and purchase it. You can actually go, and you should go. You can save yourself a little bit of money that you might want to reach out to the poor with, or you might have saved something with. So remember, we don't hate people. We don't hate things. We actually may disagree with respect on certain matters, just like they would disagree with us on certain matters. We'd love that they be respectful in their disagreement. This is something very balanced. I pray, my brothers and sisters, that we don't misunderstand what has been said. And I pray that we can spread this far and wide, inshallah. I'm going to be posting this up on YouTube, and we'll give it a good title by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any reverts out there, inshallah, you can leave us comments to tell us how you've managed, inshallah, with this. And those of you who don't have family who are reverts, I'm sure sometimes you may not understand what we've just said, subhanallah. But I know that a lot of you guys would actually go out on the holidays that happen to be during this time of the year. So don't you dare come and tell me that you haven't made use of the festive season. Oh, you have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and make us all from among those who do not compromise our prayers and our modest dress, and at the same time, I'm talking of the dress code and the diet restrictions and so many other things that perhaps we have imposed on ourselves based on what we believe. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us not to impose that on others who don't believe. They believe differently. Someone was asking me, I have a non-Muslim friend who is a lady, and she has to travel. Must she travel with a mahram? Should we impose on her to travel with a mahram? And I'm like, you cannot impose on her to follow your faith. She doesn't follow your faith. The halal food, she doesn't have to eat halal. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to pray with you. She doesn't have to, dress according to you. She belongs to a different faith. Come on, respect that. Let her do what she believes she has to do. And you do what you believe you have to do. So to impose on people things that they don't believe is equally wrong if it were to be done to us. And here we're talking of, subhanallah, the majority of us, we have a lot of acquaintances, friends, partners, even family members who happen to be non-Muslim. We actually reach out to them not just during this particular time, but throughout, with the best of our character and conduct. Today I had a beautiful incident that I really, really am proud of, and I thank Allah for giving me the opportunity. I was actually catching a flight, and I can tell you what happened. There was a Hindu couple. We were flying into India, and there was a Hindu couple on the chute getting into the plane. The sister must have been in her 30s, I think. They had a child, and she threw up. And I immediately, out of all the people, opened my bag. I took out a plastic. I've got kids of my own, but I was traveling on my own. I took out a plastic and I quickly gave it to her. And I told her, she knew what to do with it. So she started, throwing up into the bag. And I waited for a moment. I took out the Dettol wipes that I had in my bag as well. And I gave it to her husband. And I told them, to make use of it. And I waited for a moment. And why I waited was, I told them, after she had finished and all that, I said, look, you guys, get up. I'm a frequent flyer. I can tell you that if these people in the plane see that you're sick, they will offload you from the flight because you become a liability. And I think the rules are that they have to offload you if you're not well. So if you don't say anything and you just get in, then at least you'd be able to fly because it's a very short flight. So I said, give me this bag. And they were quite surprised because the bag was filled with you know what. So I got the bag from the lady, and they were just looking. They didn't know who I was. I did not know who they were, but I knew they were Hindu. They knew I was Muslim. And so what I did is I then let them go in front of me. And when they got in, then I put my boarding pass, forward, and I told them, okay, this is me, and so on. And I tried to make sure that they were gone in. And then I went in with this bag filled with, you know what, and I took it to the bathroom in the section I was, and I threw it in, washed my hands, and I got back, and I thanked Allah for giving me an opportunity to serve a brother and a sister and their child of mine in humanity when they were in need. So this is how we reach out to people whom we may not share the same faith with. And this is what is meant by living in, multicultural environments, multi-religious environments, whereby you serve one another in fact, for the sake of your maker, your common maker, and for the goodness. I'm very happy that Allah gave me the chance to do that. And I'm sure a lot of people who were on the shoot, and a lot of them looked like non-Muslim, perhaps predominantly Hindu. I'm sure they would all have learned a lesson to say, whoever this guy was, and they wouldn't have known who I was, by the way. Whoever this guy was, he was a Muslim, he was dressed in pure white, and he's the only guy who actually helped a lady who was throwing up by giving her something, waiting for it to happen, helping her by taking that bag away and helping her onto the plane. I'm not bragging about it, but I'm telling you part of what we do, because people accuse us of being, hate preachers, of being people who don't promote multicultural coexistence and tolerance. They don't know what they're talking about. What we do in our lives, if they had to know, they have not even done 10% of it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide every one of us. I challenge all of you to reach out to people of other faiths in a way that they can see the beauty of who you are, what you stand for, the humanity in you before everything else. And if you're a mu'min, then the iman in you before everything else. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you all a beautiful holiday, a lovely end of the year holiday, before you get back to work or to school or to whatever you're getting back to next year. And I pray that it's a better year coming for us. Now, one might say, subhanallah, you're not supposed to say this or do this. Listen, we all use that calendar. Every single one of us uses the calendar. Almost all of us. So in that particular case, what have I done wrong? I'm just telling you, subhanallah, that I pray that the coming year is going to be better. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us goodness and open our doors. I'm sure those who are going from grade 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, those who are being promoted, those who are going back to school, universities, whatever it is, it's going to be a new year in most cases. There are some countries that use September as the rollover, but that's fine. It's still the end of the year. And I really do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant all of us good guidance to be able to understand how to live in societies and communities where the people are not Muslim, and or even some of them or all of them or most of them, subhanallah. We have to learn to respect each other in a beautiful way. I cannot impose my values, my morals on them, and they should not impose theirs on mine. That's what makes a beautiful, beautiful world. And inshallah, that is the true meaning of multiculturalism. And I hope I can get back to you with more.